Good morning to you all on this catalogue pre-order day. Running a little bit late, but that's because I've been putting in my catalogue pre-order and been working on that since fairly early this morning. I was working on it until fairly late last night. Yes, but the order is in. Just got to sit back and wait now for the people at the warehouse to do their magic and to deliver it. So the orders for catalogues are in, the orders for new things are in, so that's all exciting stuff. So who is this mad rambling woman? Welcome, my name is Helen Jennings. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, card making, paper crafting is my job, my business, my passion, and I am always very pleased to welcome you to join me at 9 o'clock ish in the morning. And it was very ish, and it very nearly was I'm going to have to put it back. And it's like, no, need to be here. I might not know what I'm doing, but I'm here. Okay, so I need to switch off the fact that I've just been ordering lovely new things, and I need to refocus on lovely things that we already can get. And our focus this week is Morning Wendy. Let me just go and say hello. Who have we got? We've got Lisa, we've got Beryl, we've got Jeanette, we've got Wendy, we've got Valerie. Hello ladies, anybody else that's coming on? I also just need to at this point say hello to Roz if she is watching from the US on replay. There was a comment on yesterday's to say that actually with time changes and things, she used to be able to come in live sometimes. At the moment, this is going out at 5 o'clock in the morning for her, and she says she's not up. I don't blame you, Roz. You don't want to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning unless you have to be. Morning, Caroline. So if you're watching this on replay, good morning, Roz. Lovely to have you with us, even if it's a little bit later in the day. That's all good. You stay in bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't want you to be getting out of bed to come and watch us. So this week we've been concentrating on things that currently are in our current catalogue, that are also going to be in our new shiny catalogue that goes live at the beginning of June, but that at the moment you can get on a bundle price. So you can get them at 10% off, but going forward in the new catalogue, you'll have to get them separately without that 10% off. So these are things that if you want them and you haven't already got them, it's worth getting them now before the end of May or before they run out, so that you get that 10% discount. That's 10% to spend on something else. We never put it back in our pockets, do we? So the set that we're going to be concentrating on this morning is the Sailing Home set. It's been a little while since I've played with this, actually. And I've literally dragged out the colours that go with the papers. I've got the papers, I've got some ink. Much beyond that, who knows where the morning will go, because it literally was, oh my word, pre-order's gone in, print that off. What are we going to do this morning? So, stamp set. You've got these lovely rope pieces, you've got your two yachts, you've got the fabulous lighthouse, the compass, the birds, this great font with some really nice sayings that are fabulous for things like scrapbook pages as well. So that's the Sailing Home set. The stamp set. Dies, you obviously get dies that cut out some of those other bits. You've got your lighthouse, you've got your two yachts, you've got your anchor, you've got a nice seaweedy die there, you've got your hands for your compass, in fact 2 sets of hands there for your compass. You've got a nice label, stitched label that goes around some of those greetings, ship's wheel, a tied knot. I love this rope. It's a lovely die, gives lovely embossed features on your card. So that's the dies. I won't pop them back in there because we should be coming to those, I'm sure. And then the paper that I've got here, Obviously my paper has been cut into and used, but really lovely masculine colours, and a lot of it has got, you know, you've got the sort of sailing, the compasses and the rope and those sorts of things on there, maps, but you also have some really nice generic papers in there. Let's pull this out. Out you come. So that nice navy stripe, Morning Wendy, the little lighthouses, the ship's instruments, that lovely stripe just here. I saw somebody use that the other day for sending a COVID-19 card, the one about I've got out of my night pyjamas into my day pyjamas to make you this card, because they said it looked like pyjamas. And there's a green stripe, there's the sailing boats. So really nice seaweedy, really nice papers there that are great. Obviously coordinate beautifully with the stamp set and dies, but are also great for just generic backgrounds, particularly for your men's cards. So a great men's set, and say one that is carrying over to the new catalogue. The Memory and More cards aren't, so they will be going. They're also fabulous. But let's have a little look at what we're going to do with this this set. What I am thinking, I've got here some balmy blue, some light of navy, some mossy meadow, some Sahara sand, and some soft suede. There was also that gorgeous twine that came with this suite that obviously is also going to be retiring, so we might need some of that in there. And there is also, apologies, a nice set of the trinkets that go with this as well. So let us take some Sahara sand, and I think we'll go with a Night of Navy card base. So let's cut our card base down. You'll be very pleased to know that I have got a new score blade on its way to me for my new trimmer. So I shall soon be able to be creating card bases on my new trimmer again. But for now we have cut that at 14.9 centimetres, scored it at 10.5. Let's just give that a bit of a burnish. And then this one I'm going to cut down. I don't want it to be, I'm going to make it 13.4 by 9. I think we're going to have some paper going on in the background there. What paper shall we have? I might wait and decide depending on now. I think we're going to take our compass and our anchor. Morning, Karen. And we'll take some Night of Navy and some soft suede ink. Now I am going to swap that over to my old soft suede, just because I've got a re-inker for that and I've been able to re-ink it. Okay, so let's take our Sahara sand piece, and I'm going to do some random compass stamping on there. Add a bit of kitchen towel and just wipe up the worst of that ink so it's not too smudgy sitting on the top there. And then I'm going to take the anchor. There's your anchor hold in the storms of life. And going to stamp in some anchors. Bring that one that way. And we'll have one coming there. Have one coming down there. Have one peeping in there. And I think we'll have one just peeping in there like that. Okay, so we've got a nice background now. Soft suede, night of navy, compasses and anchors. Those to one side for a minute because right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a little rifle through my dies. See if we can't find the one we're looking for. I am in desperate need of a tidy up still. That was one of my jobs that I was hoping to get done yesterday, and the day yesterday just got taken, sort of went away with me really. So I ended up not doing all the things that I hoped to do. One of which was sort out all my dies. I think we'll go with the stitched rectangles. So what I'm going to do, what size shall we go? That one. And we'll take the next size up. So I'm going to grab some Night of Navy card out of my oddment bag. That one looks like it might do the trick. Morning, Emma. Perfect. So I'm going to cut a stitched rectangle from the centre of this, our stamped panel. And I'm going to cut a stitched rectangle from that Night of Navy. What happened yesterday is I decided I was going to start sorting. I wasn't just going to tidy, I was going to sort what ribbons were carrying over and what. So consequently I ended up, I think, making more mess than actually tidying anything. But that was with my pre-order head on. At that stage I didn't know what was going to be on the pre-order. So let's pop that. And as always with these double stitched dies, they do tend to hang on nicely. To whatever you're cutting out from. So there's our little stitched rectangle, so you can see the nice stitching in there. So let's run our Night of Navy one through the big shot. So if you are living here in the UK and you haven't got a current demonstrator and you would like a catalogue, then do get in touch. So what we're going to do, and I will add you to my list so that when they arrive, I will send you one. What we're going to do is we're going to put a frame behind that and then reline that up. And that will require a little bit of wiggling just to reline that stamping up. It's going to be about there somewhere, I think. So we shall do that. We shall stick that on there. Now then, do we want some paper behind that? Actually, I don't think we do. I think to put paper behind that would break up this sort of Night of Navy, Sahara Sand, Night of Navy, Sahara Sand pattern that's going on. But I did think, I'm going to put that to one side. We'll stick that together in a minute. I did think we'd perhaps have a fancy compass. We'd do a compass with some of the hands. We'd use some of those hand dye and create some nice foil hands for our compass. So let's bring in a little smidgen of Sahara Sand card. Morning, Glenda. Have I said good morning to you, Glenda? If I have, double good morning. If I haven't, well, I have now. So let's stamp another compass. Now we haven't got a compass die as such. We just need to find a nice circle that fits it. How about that one just there? And that is the 1.5 inch circle punch. And then I'm going to take these two little hand bits just here. It's gorgeous, isn't it, Glenda? And I haven't played with it for ages. And I'm going to take some of the... Oh, no, that's not copper foil. I'm going to take a little snippet of copper foil, because I think that will look quite nice and nautical. There's a bit of a wind today, a bit of a breeze picked up outside. And let's have a little bit of a dig around in our embellishment box for a couple of things. Oh, wrong ones. When you can't find what you're looking for. rummage, rummage, rummage. We have poppies, we have bird ballads. Aha. We have those. And just looking, the other thing that I want is the little brads. I don't think the brads are not carrying over either. They're retiring, which is sad because they are very useful, even more useful when you can find them. Got you, little monkeys. So I need to sort that drawer out as well. Right. So I think we just want a little brad to go in there. And then we could take one of these anchors. We've got some of our thread. Now I'm going to try something. I have no idea whether this is going to work. We're about to find out. So, copper embossing powder. Anchor. I'm going to squidge that anchor into my Versamark. And then drop it into my copper embossing powder. To be able to hook it. Because I want to then heat it without knocking any excess powder off. Just find my heat gun. Woo! Look at that. I'll leave that to cool a minute. But we've gone from a silver, still got this silly tickle, from a silver anchor, so a pewtery silver anchor, to a nice coppery one. That's fun. Okay. Excuse me while I just play. And I think we've got this, let hope be your anchor through the storms of life. We'll do it onto Sahara Sand card again. We'll stamp it in soft suede, I think. Then let's take our stitched frame die there to cut that out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rest a piece of Night of Navy underneath it and hopefully cut one of those out as well. Then we can explode that out slightly. Crash. You didn't just hear things crashing to the floor, just ignore that. There we go, and then we'll cut that in half and explode that out. Now, question, shall we go top and bottom explosion, or yes, I think we will. Right, let's bring this together. Oh, sorry about that funny noise. That's the point at which I just remembered that I didn't put something on my order. So excited with the new things. Didn't put something on. General run-of-the-mill thing that I wanted. Morning, Div. Never mind. Next time. It's not life or death. Oh, I've stuck that to the table. That's it. So we've exploded that out and given ourselves that there. Let's pop this on here. Let's pop this onto our card base. I'm going to take some of this twine and wrap it round here. Just going to tie it fairly loosely for now because I may well need to play with that a little bit as to where I want that to be. But for now, I'm just going to stick it to the front. So let me put some dimensionals on the back of this to raise this up a little bit. Now this is the bit that we need. Concentrate, tongue out, because we need this. Let's pop our little bits and pieces to one side to be lining up. So I'm looking at my compass circles to ensure they look like they're continuing as a circle. And everything else should then pretty well fall into place. Let's have not sure where my foam mat's gone, but this should do, because all I want to do is punch a hole in the centre of there, and I want a hole in the centre of there as well. This one already has a little hole. Let's thread our brad. through that hole there, through that hole there, and through that hole there. And then we'll open up our little legs on the back. So I'm sure these brads are retiring as well, so that's something else you might want to think about stocking up on. They've not already gone. Let's tie our now copper anchor to our thread. And then we've got our greeting. I think I'm going to wiggle this down a little bit. That's it. So we'll stick this down in there. I've wiggled this across so that that's sitting on the corner just there, and then we'll put north is that way, so I'm going to put a dimensional at south and some bit of snail at north, and we'll pop that in just there. How's that? Obviously we'll need to go on and put a bit of an insert inside that card. The dog down the road, a husky, is, I'm not sure whether that's his approval or whether that's he's going, not really sure about that one, Helen. Let's pop, oh, managed to get a mucky mark on that one. That's frustrating. But let's have an anchor, I think, on there. We'll just stamp a little anchor inside. So let hope be your anchor through the storms of life. So there's our little copper embossed anchor, our copper foil on our compass. So a beautiful, not beautiful, great, it's just a great stamp set and die set. I think it was one that most of us fell in love with the instant that we saw the catalogue last year. And it still is a fantastic stamp and die set. So the difference is, if you want to get it on that 10% discount, you need to get it now, because in the new catalogue that won't be an option. You'll have to buy the two bits separately without your 10% discount, without your bundle price. So well worth getting now. Now, got my eye on perfect. Thank you. I'm going to do something with this seaweedy card paper. Again, not really played with my seaweed dye very much. But why not? Where has the rope dye gone? Where are you, rope dye? You were there earlier. We've seen you. You can't be far away. There you are. Now, I'm wondering if that is, obviously we've got some black in there, but that grey colour is not listed, and it is very definitely more grey than yep, smoky slate, I think. Smoky slate and black. I think we're going to go there. So let's grab a piece of black card. Actually, I'm going to grab a piece of bigger piece of smoky slate card, because I think, oh, that's, I think we want a smoky slate base with black. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Just digging about in my black card pieces. Now, I've not got a big enough piece of black in there. So let's cut our card base, and I think we're going to have it this way. We're going to have it landscape. So we'll cut it as a side opening landscape card. So let's take our piece of smoky slate and let's cut that in half at 10.5 centimetres, and then let's swing it round and let's score it at 14.9. So obviously, as always, we change the direction. So this one we're going to go 14.4 by 10. And our paper, we're going to go 13.9 by 9.5. Pop those slithers there in case we need them. Now I'm going to cut a couple of these seaweeds out of this black card. as always, cutting them out of the middle where we're not going to see them, just to save on our cardstock. So this is then going to sit on the top of there. We'll never know that there's holes in it. Something to sit underneath that seaweed. Actually going to, let's see what one of our poppy peaceful labels from our poppy collection. Quite like the idea of the swirly outside. Okay, and then I'm thinking what might actually something else that I think is retiring. Trying to hold all the what's retiring in my head as well as what's new and what's coming. Oh, I don't think that one is that quite big enough. Oh, I might just about squeeze that out of that piece of black foil. So some black foil. Let's have a shiny black seaweed. Just wiggling that out. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Perhaps should have run that through one more time. Got you. Obviously needs to so that's nice and shiny, that one. Let's pop out some of these little bits in here. So a shiny foil and two ordinary black foils. Two black cards. And I'm thinking I'm going to cut a couple of the ropes and tie a bow. I'm just wondering what colour to do that in. Let's do it in smoky slate to start with and see how that looks. I think I'm going to need a couple of lengths of rope to get all the way across, and we'll have to pop a join underneath our label, which is fine. I love the detail on this rope. So you get the die cut rope and then you get that sort of embossed rope piece inside. Right, what I think I'm going to do is lean over here and hopefully find got a sponge that's labelled black. I'm actually going to take the Memento ink because the Memento is the ink it is slightly more water based and it is going to allow me to sponge it on more easily than stays on wood. I'm just going to sponge that a little bit with black ink just to give it a bit of pop. Just sticking with those two colours. Not being too hard. I do only want a sort of soft blackening of that rope. Now I'm wondering if the trinkets will work, but I don't think we're going to go with the trinkets. Let's have a look at our I'll have a thanks, I think. I love the font on this. Two bits of rope. Let's not lose those. Let's pick up our thanks and we will stamp that in black on. A piece of, oh, that's a yucky grubby piece of card. Let's not use that one. Let's come with this one. And I think, what shall we use to, we want a circle. We've got a perfect punch coming in the new catalogue that is just going to be absolutely ideal for this. But that's then, this is now. I think I'm just going to cut a banner with it. I think it is. Let's pop that through there. And chop off. down a little smudge more. That's better. And possibly a smudge from the top too. Then we'll decide where we want that to go. Okay, so let's start to bring this one together. I think we've got lots of little elements here. So to start with, I'm going to stick that piece of yes, so I think we're going to stick our panel, decisions, stick our panel onto the front of there, and then our two card seaweed fronds we will stick to the front like that. Then we will take our rope I'm going to take my rope across here. I'm going to snip it about there because I then need to join in my other piece. And we want that to be where we're going to cover the join up. Where have you gone? About there. Let's snip that off there. And we have our foil seaweed, and I think we'll take some little dimensionals, and I might even need to cut these down slightly or use these side pieces just to do some thin strips. One there and one there. I'm going to cut this in half. So I've got some itsy bitsy tiny ones, and we'll put one there and one there. And then I think we'll have a bit coming up there. So let's take our backs off of those. That's where those side pieces really come into their own, when you can snip them down like that. So pieces of this foil that have like little threads. Pull those off. Make sure none of that double-sided tape is showing. And we've got our little rope piece and we've got our thanks. Now I might back this onto a little piece of black, I think, to make that pop. Let's just trim that round. Let's stick that there, and then just there possibly. And I think we'll pop that up on some dimensionals. Looks very odd from the other side where we can see our stripy paper coming through. But that's okay because we're about to hide that. So that's using the seaweed. And that's got that bit of shine on that foily seaweed on the top. So I think that's possibly the first time I might have used that dye. But that's coordinating it with that lovely seaweedy paper. So a nice thank you card that you could send to the guys, and one that's giving a bit of encouragement to us all. Let hope be your anchor through the storms of life. We all need a bit of that at the moment. So thank you for joining me this morning. That's not bad, pretty well spot on an hour. And lovely to be with you all, and I will be back in the morning, and you never know, hold me to it. I might have tidied my craft room. But until then, have a lovely, lovely day, evening, wherever the part of the day you're in, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.